Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Friday, June 27th, 2014. Here's a quick look at what's coming up.
Tonight, an oath-keeping sheriff fights for your First Amendment rights. Then, tech-trendy ISIS tweets their 5-year terror plan. And the police state comes to a virtually crime-free community. That's next on the InfoWars Nightly News.
You're gonna learn to submit! And the cops just drink fluoride water. Oh, they take their kids, just shoot them up with mercury, and the kids become autistic. The cops don't care.
The Saudi and CIA-supported terror army ISIS, who is trained by the U.S. military, has supposedly posted their 5-year expansion plan on Twitter. The map shows the al-Qaeda spin-off organization occupying the entire Middle East, including Israel, plus the Arabian Peninsula, North Africa, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Indonesia, and India. Wow, those guys plan on wreaking a lot of havoc down the road, lots of raping and pillaging the next 5 years, lots of ground to cover with less than 40,000 jihadists. Now, there's no doubt that ISIS will probably never leave Iraq or even leave Syria for that matter, but I think it's safe to say that occupying the entire Middle East, now that's a bit of a stretch, all right? But this is how the propaganda machine works. This is classic fear-mongering, and their intent is to keep ISIS in the headlines. This is their new boogeyman, by the way, and they are amping up the war propaganda to feed the war on terror beast. And of course, this is done through social media and stories fabricated or even sensationalized by the establishment media. Now, the group has even launched an Arabic language Twitter app called The Dawn of Glad Tidings. So I guess the terrorists are now technologically savvy as well. And as far as the ISIS 5-year war plan, like I said, occupying the entire Middle East, I mean, it's not going to happen. But it does look scary on TV. And no doubt they're going to cause all kinds of trouble in Iraq. After all, Iraq was engineered to be a failed state to begin with. Since the U.S. took it over beginning in 2003 during the Iraq War, or the invasion of Iraq, or you can even go further back in time to when the establishment installed their own ruthless dictator and put Saddam Hussein in charge. But I digress. Iraq is currently a failed state with an ineffective and corrupt military that is controlled by the U.S. military. It's a black hole and unlimited cash cow for the military-industrial complex, exploited by contractors and preferred clients of the Pentagon. You know, Dick Cheney's Halliburton is a good example. And don't forget that Iraq is also a strategic place on the grand chessboard, and the U.S. military will always be in control of that region, even when they pretend like they're not. So don't believe the hype. The ISIS map on Twitter is a joke. I mean, this is just more propaganda that's created by the CIA, the United States, and NATO. Picture it as a prop in the ongoing effort to expand what looks like the never-ending war on terror. Now, there is a very interesting article that is posted on Infowars.com right now by William Engdahl, ISIS in Iraq, a CIA-NATO dirty war op. And it goes into the creation of ISIS, how they were trained by the CIA and U.S. Special Forces at a secret camp in Jordan in 2012. And it also goes into detail how former U.S. Department official Andrew Doran, he said that some of the ISIS warriors are now in possession of U.S. passports. Let that sink in for a minute. You know, the war on terror was manufactured for the expansion of the U.S. military-industrial complex and American imperialism on a global scale. But it was also intended to take away our civil liberties here at home, hence the Patriot Act, the NDAA, and militarized police on our streets. And this is all in the aftermath of 9/11. But to get an idea of just how serious law enforcement officials take these terror threats and use terrorism as an excuse to become an occupying force in our own backyards, just look how they are reacting right now to the American people's outrage over the recent incident where SWAT police raided a home in Georgia. They threw in a flash grenade and almost killed a 2-year-old child. I mean, the kid is fighting right now for his life in a Georgia hospital. The grenade blew a hole in his chest, but the county's DA office, this is what the DA's office said. They said, there's nothing to investigate. Bad things happen. That's just the world we live in. And that's a quote. By the way, they didn't find any drugs in the home. And to add even more insult to injury, a company that provides video training programs for law enforcement is suggesting that nobody will complain about militarized police in America or examples of police brutality when ISIS comes a-calling. They actually posted that remark on their Facebook page, and this was in response to the 2-year-old child who's clinging to life right now after his chest was blown apart by police. So ISIS is the new boogeyman, another Frankenstein created by the CIA and trained by our U.S. military to expand the war on terror and further take away our civil liberties here at home. Get it? Yeah, it looks like you're following along just fine. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. InfoWars Nightly News will return right after this. Stick around.
My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.